What's up everybody? Welcome back to Second Chance Overland. I'm in the shop again today working on some of the projects. It's time to do some more work to the Jeepster here. Lately it's been starting kind of hard. So it just doesn't want to kick over like it used to. So we're gonna do some work on this today. I've got a bunch of tune-up stuff to do. Spark plugs, wires, cap rotor. I've got a new coil, got a new fuel pump, fuel filter, and some battery cables. So going to do some work on that and hope that that takes care of the starting issue on this and we can get this thing running in tip-top shape. So let's get in and get started on this. Now, performing a tune-up on an older vehicle like this is really actually pretty simple. Unlike modern cars that are so tightly packaged in the engine bay and have coil on plug designs and fuel injectors and all kinds of other stuff in the way, this is pretty straightforward. So just going to go ahead and remove some of these plugs to start. I would definitely say that these have seen better days. So we'll throw the new plugs in here. Now, I've already checked the gap. So according to the service manual, the gap on these should be 30 thousandths. Then the manual says to torque them to 25 to 35 foot-pounds. So I'm going to go right in the middle and go 30. All right, so there's one side of the spark plugs done. Do the plugs on the other side, and then we can start working on the wires, cap, and rotor. All right, so the spark plugs are in. Next thing I want to try to do is replace this coil that is right down in here. So we're going to go ahead and pull that off. And this, I think, could be pretty difficult to get to. So there's a bracket that holds this coil in down here, and there's a screw to clamp it. There's really no way to get to that screw with the water pump in place. Okay, so there's actually a bolt that holds this bracket to the block, so I unbolted that, and then I can take the holding bracket off the coil once I get the whole thing out. So I'm just undoing the connections to the coil right now. So the coil with the bracket is out. That's where the bolt holds the bracket to the block, and that's the screw I could not get access to. So I can go ahead and get that pulled off now, and we'll get the new coil installed. All right, so now we can get the new coil in place. All right, so now for the cap rotor and wires. And this is always the fun part because you want to make sure you get the firing order correct. So I'm going to leave the cap intact with all the wires if I can for right now. Just gonna put that up out of the way. So we got our old rotor. Go ahead and put our new one on here. And then our new cap. So now leaving the plug wires on the old cap and just kind of setting it aside will allow me to actually find the correct wires and make sure I get the firing order correct on this. Let's go to this one here. All right, so now we've got new plugs, new coil, new cap and rotor, and new plug wires. A couple more things to do here. I've got a new inline fuel filter to do. I'm going to put a new fuel pump in because it is a mechanical fuel pump that I have absolutely no idea how old it is. Then I've also got some new battery cables. These are a bit frayed and corroded, so I'm just going to go ahead and replace those while I'm here working on this thing. So we'll get working on that. Okay, so we've replaced the spark plugs, the plug wires, the cap, the rotor, the coil, the battery cables, fuel pump, and fuel filter now. Now it's time to start it up. Now I don't expect it to fire off right away because we did essentially drain the fuel system from the pump to the carb. So it's going to take a minute for that fuel to build back up into the carb. So it'll start, but let's give it a shot. Well, that actually fired off real quick. I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm gonna let this warm up, get up to temp here, and then maybe we'll take it for a drive here in a minute. Well, the Jeepster is now firing off immediately and running like a top. So I think this thing is good to go. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Got a lot more projects to go. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.